Brothers and sisters, sorry for standing here at this place. I need some help because English is not my mother language, so I need some help. I need these sheets, and I know you used to see Father James in the front here, but I hope you can understand what I want to say. Last Sunday we have heard about where the place of a disciple is. Remind this gospel, the beginning of the sermon in the fields. Jesus gathered with his 12 apostles, with his disciples, and with a large crowd. And we heard about this, where the place of a disciple is. A disciple is a human being, and he is with Jesus. He is a follower of him. Simply being with Jesus is the very own nature of a disciple. His or her first virtue is spending time with the master, the teacher, spending time with the living God. Simply be with Jesus. All the other qualities will follow this. Simply be with Jesus. When you are saying, praying, or singing, "Here I am, Lord," Jesus will do about, we have heard last Sunday too, he is fixing his eyes on you. To be with him and to come into his view is the essential condition of discipleship. But what's the next thing? What's next? How to walk on a lifelong way with Jesus. And it is a lifelong way to be with Jesus, to follow him. It is a lifelong way. Today's gospel answers this question a little bit more. But before I follow the gospel, let me tell you a story of my life. Maybe it's a story also of your lives. Maybe from time to time. Maybe not in your lives, but in my former life it happened. And it was a thing very painful, very, very painful. I was left by my girlfriend when I was 20 years old. Don't laugh, it is 35 years ago. I was left by my girlfriend when I was 20 years. That was very sad for me. That was very, very sad. But not only sad, the worst was I began to hate this guy who took away my girlfriend. I began to hate. This was the worst thing. Some of you would say hate is normal, it's a normal feeling in such a situation, but it isn't. It isn't a normal feeling. Sometimes we have this feeling of hate, we condemn others, but it's not a normal thing to hate another person. I felt sick and an inner unrest. Not only for some months, it was for years that I wasn't the person I could be. It was for years. A person full of hate for years. You could imagine what this means. So what to do? What to do? What could I do in this situation? And I tell you what I did. I did nothing. I did nothing. But today, also in this very day, today I know it was Jesus who did the most important thing. He reminded me of today's gospel. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned yourself. Years ago, I heard this word, I heard this sentence in my heart, do not condemn, and you will not be condemned yourself. And so I started to pray, Jesus, give me an open heart, give me a wide heart. There's only space for love and not for hate. I asked what to do next as a disciple. First, simply be with Jesus, and then hear the good news. These two things are the most important things. Jesus is very clear and mostly very simple and practical. Not always, but today's gospel is. Its message is very simple and very practical. A lot of things we should do and we should not do. It is practical. We are able to do like Jesus taught and did. It's not a gospel for angels. It's not a gospel for angels or for perfect saints. It's a gospel for us. It's not always easy, you know. It's not always easy to follow Jesus. Sometimes it is hard to be and act as a disciple. We know this. But it's not difficult to understand. It's a practical message. It's not difficult to understand. I'm sure you all know this sentence in our gospel, treat others as you would like them to treat you. In German we called it, if I translate, the golden rule or the golden law. Treat others as you would like them to treat you. Have you heard this sentence sometimes? Yeah, most of you. It's a worldly wisdom. It's a worldly wisdom almost known in every religion or culture around the world. Very practical, not specifically a Christian thing, not specifically a Christian message. But what is unique? What is the unique message for us as Christian disciples in this gospel? It is a promise. It is a promise, and Jesus' promises make the difference. Not only practical message, but it's all about this promise. And let's look in the gospel. You will have a great reward, and you will be sons of the Most High, for He Himself is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. You will have a reward, and you will be sons and daughters of the Most High. This is the promise if we follow Jesus and we follow His message in this gospel. Beyond, we see, beyond the practical message, there is a promise. The Son of God knows what is best for us. Of course, He has, of course, a profound knowledge of the human condition. He became flesh. But He Himself is God. He Himself is also God. He wants us to be disciples, and He wants us to find our final purpose. Our final purpose. Lots of purposes in our life, of course, but He wants us also to find our final purpose. So our discipleship is about being with Jesus, following His teachings and finding our way into heaven. But as you all know, heaven started with Jesus. No, the heaven is much more older than Jesus. It's the space of God. But the heaven, which is our purpose, started with Jesus. And becoming a disciple means being prepared for heaven. And it means to make other disciples. If we love it to be disciples, we want to share this practical way to heaven with other people. We want to share this. What hinders you to go and to make disciples? Think about this Sunday and the following week. What hinders us to go and to make disciples? What hinders us to announce the promise, this promise? a full measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured out into your lap. This is a great, deep promise. The way we will experience this, the way is Jesus' promise, I am with you always to the very end of the age. I am with you always to the very end of the age. We are not alone as disciples. We are many, and Jesus is with us. And I think he loves to have more of us. He loves to have more disciples. And this is our job. Amen.